Vinyl community, welcome to Tim Eaton's Vinyl Vengeance. Um, Doing a vinyl 12-inch, few 7-inch, and 2 CD update just from some items that I've picked up this past week. Let's see, I've gotten a package from Barnes and Noble. A package came in from Boone's Overstock.com. Was able to get into a independent record store last weekend, and I had a delivery from a seller that I've used quite a few times from Discogs. So I'm gonna start off with the Barnes and Noble item that arrived in the mail. So I think it was 2 weeks ago, my wife and I got to see Primus, just about 25 minutes south of where we live at the Caverns. It was actually, the performance was up on top of the Caverns in a amphitheater setup, but great show. It was Primus and then two of Les Claypool's other bands, and well, the second band that was performing was Les and Sean Lennon, John Lennon's, what was that, his, I believe his youngest son. And they have a new album out that they did a few songs for. I did not get the record from the concert. I did get a poster. But this I ordered because there was a different variant through Barnes & Noble, and I had some credit with their website. So I gave this a first spin this morning, and it is every bit as great as their first two releases. I would say it's even better. Just really psychedelic, but some prog. Of course, it's got Les's funk. There is a booklet in here, but I have yet to completely remove the plastic, so I've not gotten into that yet. But so 24-page original comic book that is included on the inside. I believe it's attached to the inside of the gatefold, so there's no way of pulling that out right now. But this is the Great Parrot Ox and the Golden Egg of Empathy, the Claypool Lennon Delirium. So if you're into some more experimental music, you like your funk rock, funk metal, psychedelic, prog, I'd recommend checking that out. Okay, and keeping with prog, said that I went to a small independent record shop in Cartersville, a little north of Atlanta, Georgia, last weekend, and it was a small shop. Guy didn't have a whole lot that I was interested in, but I came across something that I was not aware of that was out there. This is a single from Geddy Lee, and it contains 2 tracks that were, I guess, leftovers or demos from his My Favorite Headache album, which I've got both on CD and record. And this one is just 2 songs, The Lost Demo's Gone and I Am, You Are. So it's kind of got a similar motif from the My Favorite Headache, same coloration, little dotted line. And it is just, as far as I know, it was just this one variant. I think there was both pressed in the US and then also over in Europe and simply on black vinyl. I would imagine it is probably 45 speed. Seeing it is a 12-inch though, so I guess it could be 35. Probably 45 RPMs though. And I have not given a listen to that yet, but I do like Geddy's solo album. So if those 2 tracks are anything like the rest of his solo album, that will be very cool. Was a order from Boone's Overstock. This was a pre-order. One of the albums had come in probably a couple of weeks ago. Had to wait on that one for the other one to become available. So this was the one that was released a couple of weeks ago. Armored Saint's new album, which is Emotion Factory Reset. And so I was seeing a lot of people posting this one online. I had to wait for mine because the next one I'm going to show was waiting for that pre-order to come through. But this one is limited to 300. You can see my number is 106. It is a Metal Blades release, but a limited version on or through Boone's Overstock. And this one is a citrine smoke variant. Very nice, transparent, kind of a yellow with that orange swirl. And I have given this album one listen. Many of you out there probably have already heard it. It's getting good reviews. I really liked the last one. That one came out, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, but I thought that was great. I hold that one in high esteem. This one sounds great too. Got to give it some more spins, but they sound great. For guys that are a little up in age, they're still making some fantastic hard rock, heavy metal. Not hard rock. They're metal. They're a true metal band. I know they had maybe experimented a little bit with, I don't know, some different sounds later in the 2000s, but I think they're back on track. Next up is a German power metal band. I've got, let's see, 2 CDs of theirs. So this would be the first album of theirs that I've been able to get on vinyl. This is a new press, again, available through Boone's Overstock, but it's released through the pressing is Retroactive Records and also Ultimatum Records. Originally released in, I wrote this down, 2003. And of course, because I was just waiting on this one, it just came out, the repress in 2006. So that's the year that we're currently in, and it is the band 7th Avenue, and it is Between the Worlds, which I believe is their 4th, get it without the glare there, their 4th full studio release. And I don't know why I feel like I need to pull this one out. You can see in the hype sticker that it's both the orange and solid orange and solid blue. So I'll just show that one there. Got the center ring. And let's see. So yeah, if you enjoy, let's see, Gamma Ray, Halloween, Theocracy, Sinbreed, those melodic power metal bands, then I would say you definitely should give these guys a try. They're no longer putting out new music, but I think they've released maybe 5 or 6 studio albums. So great German power metal band. Okay, next up, this one got from the band itself. So the band Neurosis, originally out of California, I believe San Francisco, kind of threw everybody for the surprise a number of months ago, saying that they were back together again and they were putting out a new album or had already recorded it. I think they just kind of held a tightly well-kept secret that they had been working on this. It is An Undying Love for a Burning World. So got this one directly from the band through their label Neurorot Recordings. And like most of their albums, it is double vinyl because they're typically kind of on the longer side. And I think even though I pre-ordered this, I missed out on the first pressings, the first variants that they put out. This is a second pressing, which the first ones hadn't even been released yet. But I guess they were selling so well that they decided to throw out another one. I believe they're calling this one Tiger's Eye. Not so much because of the eyeball and in the center that we see there, because of the color, that kind of dark spots within the orange. So pretty cool color there. And again, I have only given this one listen so I typically say on these videos, I didn't give this much of a listen to online. I try not to spoil. I may listen to a short little clip prior to getting a new album, but I typically like to be able to hear, from first track to the last track, and not spoil things by listening too much to online streams. So giving it one spin, really enjoyed it. I love their early stuff, including their first two albums, which were much more punk infused before they started getting really experimental. But if you're not familiar with Neurosis, check them out. All right, what do I want to go into next? How about we'll stick with the, I'll go ahead and stick with the 12-inch records. This is a band I'm sure everybody watching this will be familiar with from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I have this record, this particular album on record already. It's a Korean version, and of course I've got it on CD, but when I saw it available on Japanese version, decided this is one of my favorite hard rock albums. I love this. I can give or take some of their other albums, but this one, track for track, is classic 80s heavy metal. Love it. I put it up there with my favorites from Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Black Sabbath. I know most people wouldn't do that, and you're probably thinking I'm nuts, but it's just an album that really holds special place in my heart. I really love it. So having another version of it, I can justify that. One of my faves. So that was Wings of Tomorrow, released 1984. This one is a new band to me. I did listen to some of the sound bites of this one online. This is Rabbit. They are an AOR hard rock band from Canada. I believe they had a few albums. This is their first one, and it is titled Wrought and Ready, with the W's for both of those words. And of course, Rabbit also has the W there, missing the second B. And yeah, it's definitely not that Europe album that I just showed, but it's good. It was a good listen. I enjoyed the songs. I don't know who else I would compare them with. I'm going to have to give it a few more listens before I could kind of stick it in a camp of other bands. But if any of you are familiar with this album or Rabbit's other albums, tell me what you think. Tell me who you compare them to, or who you would put them, side by side with, as far as this genre. And yay or nay, what do you think of them? Okay, now from that, the last two came from one of a Discogs seller that I go to, pick up quite a bunch of stuff from. And so these next three are 7 inches that I got along with those two full lengths. And this first one was actually thrown in by the seller, I guess maybe because the condition of the sleeve here for the 7 inch, but it's I don't know, it's not in bad condition. But so this is Grand Funk Railroad, and it is, let's see, Looking Out and Paranoid. So originally released in 1969 on the Grand Funk album, but maybe because this is a Japanese version, this 7-inch was actually released in 1971. So we're looking at potentially a year and a half, maybe 2 years later. And so yeah, Japanese press, and no tears, no major, no stains. Little bit of I don't know, slight bends, a few little marks, maybe a little bit of discoloration down at the bottom, but it's not bad. And the inner sleeve has a little bit of stains, but looking at the actual 7-inch, I don't see anything that resembles any maybe a few real light scuffs, but it doesn't look like any scratches or in the inner labels look to be in great condition too. So I really appreciate the seller throwing that in. That was very cool. And I guess they threw that one in because I went ahead and ordered Rock and Roll Soul and Flight of the Phoenix, another Grand Funk Railroad 7-inch. This was released in 1972. And that one came from the Phoenix record, which I do not currently have. Again, this being one that I did pay for. They list most of their 7 inches, both sleeves and records, as VG Plus, and most of the time I think they're in much better condition than VG Plus. Got the front face of the insert, and the back is just with capital logo there in the center, not a whole lot. And the inner protective sleeve for the record. Okay, and the third is a Japanese band that I've got 3 of their first 3 full lengths. This is their first single, and as far as I know, the 2 tracks on this are not on any of the full lengths, at least not on the 2 that came before and after this release. So this is, if I pronounce this correctly, I know I've butchered it in the past, Seikima-II. And I'm not going to try to pronounce the first song there. The English translation for that is House of Wax, and then the B-side track is Jack the Ripper. Again, as far as I know, neither one of those tracks are on their first or second full length, released on Fitz Beat. And I know these guys look like they're probably a, I don't know, wannabe Kiss. Of course, this was released in 80. I'm thinking it was 84, so I guess we can't really compare them to wannabe Guar, because Guar was not around at that time. Yeah, I'm either not seeing the date or it's in a Japanese character, so, but I believe that's an 84 release. So look forward to listening to that. And the last two are another Japanese band. I'm going to switch over to CDs. Both of these next 2 have been released on both CD and vinyl, but I went ahead and decided to go with getting the CDs because they've got not just extra tracks, they've got an extra worth of tracks. So the first one is Psy. This is Ghastly Funeral Theater, and this is originally an EP. I believe this was their 3rd release. It was after their 2nd full length, and so the first CD is just 6 tracks. This one I went ahead and opened up. Did arrive with some cracks in the case, but oh well. So yeah, just 6 tracks for the first. So I was like, do I want to spend $30, $35, $40 for the vinyl and get just 6 tracks? Do I want to spend a lot less and get a second disc? So there's a second disc that includes, it says vinyl collector's LP, a John Coltrane cover. That'll be interesting. Unreleased mixes, rough mixes, and funeral theater promo. So the first CD, and we'll see the second one. Yeah, different color there. We've got the red on with the black lettering and the black with the red lettering. So I've got a few other records from this band. These will be the first CDs, and then I'm going to follow that one up with Hail Horror Hail, which is their 3rd full length, and this one also came with a second CD. So you get the first CD, I believe it's remastered, and then CD 2 is rough mixes, an album outtake, and then a re-recorded version of one of the tracks from the main album. So yeah, really glad to see that those had been re-released. I remember seeing those album covers years ago and being interested in the band, and I've since picked up some of the more recent stuff and their first and second albums, but these two were kind of elusive, and I was not going to be paying the amount of money that was out there for the OG copies. So glad to see that. Let me see, it was Peaceville. Peaceville re-released those recently. So if you're in the Psy, uh, maybe leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite Psy album is. What do what do you like about it? Because I know they've changed so much, starting off as like a black metal band and then becoming more experimental, avant-garde. And, yeah, if you like them, you follow that band, let me know what it is that you like about them. All right, friends, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Please give a thumbs up, a like, and leave a comment if you're so inclined. And again, I always say thank you for watching. Keep digging, folks. Keep spinning. And thanks for supporting Vinyl Vengeance. Take care.